What's going on, everyone? Chris from Pickdawgz.com here with the Wraparound. We're going to be breaking down the NHL action going down on Saturday, December 28th, 2024. If you like this content, make sure you smash that thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel. Let me know your NHL picks in the comment section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, including my daily $15 best bet, head to Pickdawgz.com and click the Premium Picks tab at the top of the page. Only had some mixed results with the Wraparound yesterday. And it's like I've said, I said at the beginning of that video, I would say tread very, very lightly through the first, couple days of the teams coming back from the Christmas break. You don't have to bet every single game. I'm going to once again just use these next few days as a chance to see who's come back out of the break strong, who maybe needed that break to hit the reset button, and who maybe was a hot team that, caught the break at the wrong time and it stopped all their momentum. So I'll have to see how that breaks down. Not gonna lie to everybody, I'll be fully transparent. I always have been with you guys here on the Wraparound. I don't love today's card. Not my favorite card that we've ever seen from the NHL. There are some decent matchups on the board. There will be a couple of spots that I will sort of highlight that I really do like. But there's gonna be a lot of leans here. There's gonna be a few totals, because there's just some lines that are a little bit tricky to navigate. But we'll talk about that here. Let's not wait any longer. You guys know the drill. Are you ready? I'm ready. Let's get into it. Our first game comes to us from the Amerant Bank Arena, where the Florida Panthers take on the Montreal Canadiens. And I can get why Florida would be heavily favored here, but they are coming off a bit of a rough outing against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Maybe they had the chance to sort of stew and hit the reset button, or maybe it was a sign that maybe they're gonna stumble a little bit here and there. Thing is, though, Montreal not a team that I go out of my way to back with any sort of consistency, especially on the road, where they've won just 4 of 15 games this season. However, the Montreal Canadiens have been in some fine goal scoring form. They entered the Christmas break over a 4-game stretch, scoring a combined 19 goals over those 4 games. They went 3-1 in those 4. And head-to-head between these two teams, it's been a lot of goals in the past matchups. I think this is going to be a higher scoring game. I could see a blowout here from the Panthers. So if I had to lean towards the side here, maybe take the Panthers on the puck line here. But I'm going to take the over 6.5 in this one. Now we head to Rogers Arena, where the Vancouver Canucks take on the Seattle Kraken. And tricky matchup here, considering that, the Vancouver Canucks are trying to pick up their play at home. They're 7-7-5 at home this season, where they were really struggling earlier this year. But I still have my concerns about this Vancouver defense at home this season, where they've still given up almost 3.6 goals per game. The Seattle Kraken have lost 5 straight coming into this game. And that's, something to definitely keep in mind. And I'm not, normally jumping on teams like that when they've scored 2 goals or less in 5 straight. But the thing is, you look at some of the competition they played, teams like Colorado and Vegas on the road. They played the Tampa Bay Lightning at home. The Ottawa Senators have been red hot. So, I think this could be a spot where maybe Seattle could provide some value. We're catching plus money with them. They've won 4 of the last 5 meetings in this matchup. They won the last trip to Vancouver. Actually, their last 2 trips to Vancouver. So I'm going to take a shot here with the Kraken. It's not my favorite game on the board. It's just a lean here, but I'll lean towards the Kraken at plus 110. Now we head to the Honda Center, where the Anaheim Ducks take on the Philadelphia Flyers. And another game where I think I'm just looking at the over in this one. I mean, you look at the form of these two teams. Philadelphia went into the Christmas break allowing 4 or more goals in 5 straight games, and they went 1-4 in those games. And that was an average. If I'm doing some quick math here, 28 goals. That was around 5.5 goals per game that they were giving up in that 5-game stretch. Anaheim, say what you want about the Ducks, they had been struggling, but they started to find the back of the net with a little bit more consistency. And head-to-head between these two teams, they normally only meet twice a year. But last year, the 2 meetings had a combined 20 goals between the 2 games. So I'm going to lean towards the over 6 in this one. Now we head to the Crypto.com Arena, where the Los Angeles Kings take on the Edmonton Oilers. And this is a very tricky matchup. This is probably one of the most tricky matchups on the card, because you have an LA Kings team that's finally getting back home for the first time in 3 weeks. They finally get a home game after finishing their 7-game East Coast road trip. They went 3-4, and they're still 9-8-4 on the road this season. But the Edmonton Oilers are the team in much better form. Winners of 3 straight and 8 of their last 9. They're 9-4-1 on the road, which is still very respectable. And I think that the tipping point for me here is that Edmonton's had the upper hand on the Kings in recent meetings. Now, this is a playoff revenge spot for the Los Angeles Kings, which normally I jump on like white on rice, but even in the regular season, for the most part, the Edmonton Oilers just had their way with the Los Angeles Kings, and I think that Edmonton's in some fine defensive form right now. I guess I think that proves to be the difference here. It's a lean towards the Oilers at minus 135, but not one I'm rushing to bet. I'll probably just watch it as a fan. Now we head to the Canada Life Center for a match between the Winnipeg Jets and the Ottawa Senators. And if Ottawa was at full strength here, I think I could make a strong case for the under, because I think that Ottawa's goaltending has been rock solid for the better part of this recent run they've been on, where they're 8-2 in their last 10. And Linus Ullmark has been outstanding for the Ottawa Senators. However, Ullmark is injured. He didn't go with the Ottawa Senators on their road trip, and it looks like for me it's going to be Levi Meriläinen that gets the start here for Ottawa. And Meriläinen was solid. He gave up 2 goals in relief in the game against the Oilers. Also got the win over the Vancouver Canucks. Did give up 4 goals in that game, but I just have a hard time envisioning him going toe-to-toe with Connor Hellebuyck, because I do envision Hellebuyck getting the start in this game. And before the Christmas break, Hellebuyck was on absolute fire, where he had given up 2 goals or less in each of his last 4 starts. All those starts were victories. 3 of his last 4 starts, and all those starts were victories. So I'm going to take the Winnipeg Jets in this one. It's a decent price with the Jets, who are still, a really solid 12-3-1 on home ice this season. So Ottawa's playing well, but I just think the goaltending edge has to go to the Jets here at the reasonable price. Now we head to the Lenovo Center, where the Carolina Hurricanes take on the New Jersey Devils. We just saw this matchup on Friday, and it was a 4-2 win for the New Jersey Devils at home. Now the series, flips to Carolina, and while Carolina is a solid 13-4 at home this season, they're just not in great form right now. Now, yes, they've won back-to-back home games against the Islanders and the Blue Jackets, but let's face it, those have been 2 of the more inconsistent teams in the NHL this season, especially the Islanders. And the Columbus Blue Jackets, well, they've been consistently bad on the road this season. They've been a much better team at home, but on the road is not where they've, had a ton of success. And I'm just really concerned for Carolina, that, Peter Kochetkov or Dustin Tokarski they're going to be overworked here. And Tokarski's not a great goalie to begin with, and like I said, he's not used to this, kind of NHL level workload, from for the last few seasons. And Kochetkov is still a young goalie that still hasn't, had a ton of tenure to him. The New Jersey Devils, am I the biggest fan of the tandem of Jacob Markstrom and Jake Allen? No, but Markstrom has made me eat my words. He's put 2 goals or less allowed in each of his last 4 starts, all victories. And even if it's Allen that gets the start here, Allen was still respectable, and even in a loss to Columbus, gave up 3 goals in that last game. I just think that the New Jersey Devils are just playing some solid hockey. They play their better hockey on the road, where they're 12-5 this season. Give me the Devils here at plus 115. Now we head to Scotiabank Arena, where the Toronto Maple Leafs take on the Washington Capitals. And this is a very interesting game with Toronto on the back-to-back. They took it to Detroit on Friday, and now they get to go back home for this one. And we did see Joseph Woll get the start in goal for Toronto on Friday. We'll have to see who gets the start here. I mean, we saw Matt Murray poke his head out against the Buffalo Sabres, a week ago, just before the break. So maybe he gets the start here, but I still like Toronto at home from what I've seen from him. I do think that Charlie Lindgren and Logan Thompson are still one of the more underappreciated goaltending tandems in the NHL this season. But the Washington Capitals have started to stumble a little bit. They've split their last 6 games. They've scored 3 goals or less in 5 straight and 6 of 7. And like I said, the Toronto Maple Leafs just tend to play their better hockey at home. Not when I'm rushing to the window to bet, especially because I know I'm going to catch a lot of flack for backing the Leafs again, but give me the Leafs here at minus 115. Now we head to the Amalie Arena, where the Tampa Bay Lightning take on the New York Rangers. And to be honest, I have zero clue what is wrong with the New York Rangers right now. This team just looks absolutely broken. They've lost 7 of their last 9 games. They've scored 3 goals or less in 6 straight, 2 goals or less in all 5 of the losses during that 6-start stretch. and 3 goals or less in 8 straight, 2 goals or less in 6 of those 8 games as well. They've lost 7 of their last 9. This is just not Rangers hockey that you'd expect to see from a team that had so much success last season. The Tampa Bay Lightning, they played their best hockey at home, 10-5-1. They're coming off a split prior to the break against the Florida Panthers. I mean, even before the break, they've now won, 3 of their last 4 games at home, and all those have been in blowout fashion. Again, until the Rangers figure out what's going on and why they're struggling as much as they are, they're not seeing a dime of my money as good as this team is. Give me the Tampa Bay Lightning on the money line at -160. Now we head to this matchup between the Boston Bruins and the Columbus Blue Jackets. Another rematch from a matchup we just saw, and it was a 6-2 blowout win for the Columbus Blue Jackets. 8 goals scored in that game. And don't look now, but Columbus has all of a sudden scored, 4+ goals in 4 straight games. 19 goals combined in those 4, so around 4.75 goals per game. So give them the credit where it's due, but the bulk of their success where they've been winning games has come at home, where they have been much more successful this season. The Blue Jackets are 15-15-6, which doesn't sound bad, and it's not bad on paper, but 11-4-3 at home compared to 4-11-3 on the road. The Boston Bruins, they play their best hockey on home ice. They've won 3 straight at home over their last 10 games and beat some decent teams. They beat the Washington Capitals, they beat the Philadelphia Flyers. They held the Caps and the Sabres to 1 goal in back-to-back games. I just think that the Boston Bruins can get the job done at home here, so I lean towards the Bruins, but I'd be remiss if I just ignored the goal scoring that we saw just a night ago, especially if we see Jet Greaves get the start here for Columbus, which is entirely possible with Merzlikins getting the start for Columbus on Friday. And for Boston, Jeremy Swayman hasn't been the sharpest, so I lean towards the over 6.5 as well, but for me it's going to be Bruins in regulation as my main play for this one. Now we head to the UBS Arena where the New York Islanders take on the Pittsburgh Penguins, and a 1-game performance could be enough for the Islanders to land their way onto the do not bet list for the foreseeable future. I mean, to lose 7-1 to a team that had lost 13 games in a row in the Buffalo Sabres, it's downright despicable. And I mean, they're 6-8-2 at home this season. The Penguins, almost identical record on the road, 6-8-3, but they are playing the much better hockey right now. They've won 6 of their last 10 games. The goal scoring has been a lot more consistent for the Pittsburgh Penguins as well. And while the Islanders have had Pittsburgh's numbers in recent years, winning 7 of the last 9 meetings, including 3 straight head-to-head, thanks to a 4-3 win in a shootout earlier this season, I just think the value here is with the Pittsburgh Penguins, even if it's blindly fading the Islanders as nothing else. And our final game on Saturday's card takes us to the SAP Center where the San Jose Sharks take on the Calgary Flames. And, not a game I'm necessarily rushing to the window to bet. I've seen it, hovering around 6.5 goals here. And I got to go with the over in this thing. I mean, the San Jose Sharks have still been wildly competitive. During even a 6-game losing streak, there's been a bunch of games where they've kept it close within the puck line. 4 of those 6 games have been 1-goal losses, so they are competitive and they are scoring some goals. They've scored 3 goals or more in 4 of their last 6 and even 5 of their last 7. And the Calgary Flames, well, they're coming off a 6-4 win at home over Chicago. But even in their recent road games, they beat Nashville 4-3, lost to Dallas 6-2, lost to Pittsburgh 6-2. I'm not saying we're going to see that kind of game here, but a 4-3 kind of game or even 5-4, 5-3 wouldn't surprise me here. So give me the over 6.5 to round things out. That's it. That's all the NHL action for Saturday, December 28th, 2024. Again, if you like this content, make sure you smash that thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel. Let me know your NHL picks in the comment section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, including my daily $15 best bet, head to pickdawgz.com, click the Premium Picks tab at the top of the page, and remember to use the promo code PICK at checkout for 15% off your purchase. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you guys soon.